equal under 145. Oh, I had to fight
More rounds,
5 rounds. Yeah,
less time.
5 rounds.
No,
yeah.
6 rounds, 3 minutes.
Really? Maybe too short still. 3 minutes.
Not for a lightweight. They're not heavyweights.
Yeah. I mean, the rounds would be boom,
Exactly.
Like, he's like, I want it over with.
I mean, what? But this is only for 155 and lower. My bad.
also,
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Upon the examination of the galaxies of space, images begin to appear. Images of strange and powerful forces. But of all the forces in the universe, the 2 most powerful, heel and face. Prepare to explode.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Heel and Face out here at the Ohio Media School. I am the mayor of the Squared Circle, easy for me to say, alongside Aaron Hurt. We had a busy weekend. Sorry we weren't here on Friday, but we will make up for it here in this show. So go to YouTube, search Score On Air. We are streaming live as I say that. If that's not your cup of tea, go to your Google Play Store, Apple Store, search the TuneIn app, then also search ScoreOnAir.com. So with that being said, I'm going to throw it over to Aaron for our WWE news.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, James. And you are right. Since we were not able to come to you on Friday, we have that much more news that we need to cover here, so let's go right into it. First, couple of notes we have are breaking today, though, however, and will have a significant effect on the upcoming SummerSlam event, as WWE announced that Bayley has, in fact, suffered a separated shoulder during her recent match against Nia Jax on Raw and will not compete in the planned Women's Championship match against Alexa Bliss at the forthcoming SummerSlam. Bayley is scheduled to appear tonight on Raw to address the injury, and there will be the start of a series of matches held to determine a new number 1 contender. The plan is to hold 2 triple threat matches with the winners of that facing off, and that winner being named Alexa Bliss, new number 1 contender for SummerSlam. So, another note about an injury relating this time to Scott Dawson of the Revival. As you may remember, his partner recently had to take quite a bit of time off for a broken jaw. Well, this time, Dawson may be facing surgery for an injured bicep, which could, in fact, jeopardize the planned match for the Revival to face the Hardy Boys at SummerSlam.
Last time I saw it was a ruptured bicep. So
yeah, that was the initial report that we had, that he had worked over the weekend with his arm taped, but that the severity of the injury was being determined, and that if it were simply a partial tear, he could recover within, say, 3 to 6 weeks. But if he requires more invasive surgery, then it could be up to 6 months for a complete recovery. So hopefully it is the former opposed to the latter, because I would like to see that match happen. I mean, I don't care if it's SummerSlam or, in VFW Hall or wherever that match goes down, it's going to be a classic. So we've seen him face off on Raw, but it was being set up for them to really have a chance to have a show-stealing match. So hopefully we get to see it. But one thing that we will be seeing later on in the year is Hell in the Cell. WWE announced that October the 8th at Detroit's Little Caesars Arena, SmackDown will host the WWE Hell in a Cell event. This will be one of the, if not the first, show from WWE in this new venue, as they recently closed out the Joe Louis Arena, the special appearance by Brock Lesnar. But I find this interesting, James. I want to ask you about this. What do you think about SmackDown getting both Hell in a Cell and Money in the Bank? Do you feel like that Raw is getting the short end of the stick?
I do, because I would enjoy seeing Raw do Hell in a Cell based on the talent that they've got with Braun, Roman, Joe. It feels like with the talent they have on Raw, that's more of a Hell in a Cell-ish roster.
I'd say looking at it from this far out, just in general, I would agree with that. But nevertheless, SmackDown will be responsible for pulling that show off in October. But Somebody whom we don't know if he will be available and actively performing with WWE at that time is John Cena, who is set to play a lead role in the Paramount Transformer spin-off Bumblebee. This announcement coming from The Hollywood Reporter. Production has begun on the project, and it is set for release on December the 21st, 2018, coincidentally enough, the same date as DC's Aquaman film. No information is available at this time as to how this will affect Cena's commitments heading into SummerSlam, where he's set to face Baron Corbin.
What do you think has a higher showing that weekend, Bumblebee or Aquaman?
I honestly think that Cena, I don't know, maybe if they get Roman Reigns to be an Aquaman, then we can really figure out who's more over. But I think that the fact that wrestling fans will be hearing about this for the next year and a half will have a lot to do with, Cena probably getting a lot of publicity for this. So it's hard to say. I mean, DC's...
it is Aquaman.
DC's opening weekends usually aren't as strong as their other competitors, but we'll see. And Michael Bay won't have anything to do with this Transformers, will he?
Not that I know of.
Okay, well, that's at least...
That might be something...
one step in the right direction.
I might look at that while we're on break just to confirm or deny Michael Bay.
But... Cena is scheduled for lots of appearances. He's scheduled for Raw appearances in late September. He's scheduled to appear on several live events for both brands. But we'll have to wait and see the way things play out at SummerSlam to really have more of a clue as to what WWE plans to do with John Cena. Somebody that they will not have available is Chris Jericho. Despite his recent appearance on SmackDown, Jericho will not be appearing at any upcoming WWE events. Because in addition to tour dates with his band Fozzy, he will soon be embarking on a publicity tour for his latest book entitled No is a Four-Letter Word. I've enjoyed all of Jericho's other books, so I can't wait for this one. They get more inside baseball, I guess, as they go along, but the stories are fascinating, and he's got a bundle of them to tell. As
of right now, Michael Bay hasn't been confirmed or denied for Bumblebee.
Okay, well...
Best news we've heard all day.
At least it's got hustle, loyalty, and respect behind it.
They're going to put Mark Wahlberg in, and I know they're
maybe
going to.
Well, there's that Boston connection.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell those two guys apart if they stood next to each other on screen. One of them's much taller.
Right, and the other one's much more jacked.
Yes. Anyway, a couple more notes here to round out this opening segment. WWE has decided not to offer a contract to Japanese women's wrestling superstar Io Shirai, reportedly due to concern over her history of neck injuries and the results of WWE sponsored medical evaluations. Shirai was able to rehab the majority of her nagging injuries while negotiating with WWE and had recently been cleared to return to wrestling by her personal doctor, but instead Shirai has chosen to return to Stardom, which is Japan's most popular women's wrestling organization and the organization where she has long served as that company's top star. So it looked like it was going to be quite the devastating 1-2 punch to lose both Kairi Hojo, now known as Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai to WWE in a matter of weeks. But it appears that Shirai will be a major part of the company going forward from here on out. And one more note about the UK situation with no immediate plans to produce the planned UK TV show. Pete Dunne made his first UK title defense outside a WWE ring with a victory over Trent Seven, Wolfgang, and BT Gunn in a four-way match at a Glasgow, Scotland ICW event recently. The Bruiserweight is also set to defend his title against Jack Gallagher at this coming weekend's Progress event in New York City. Their debut in New York, definitely set to be a huge show and will be carried live on iPay-per-view via FloSlam, I believe. Dunn, along with the inaugural UK champion Tyler Bate and their compatriots Trent Seven, Wolfgang, and Mark Andrews are all being brought into the U.S. by WWE to appear on a series of live events. No specifics as to whether it is Raw, SmackDown, NXT, what have you, but nonetheless, that crew of guys will be available for WWE on many different shows between now and SummerSlam. So good news for fans of that crop of UK wrestlers, of which I'm a big one. What are your thoughts about that, James? Where do you think those guys would be most useful?
Not on the WWE roster, because they'll just get lost inside the shuffle.
Seriously, Pete Dunne should have been put on SmackDown the moment that he won that UK tournament, because
that could have been another title they had, like Raw's got the 205.
It's you could definitely make the case that the Tyler Bate Pete Dunne match at the recent takeover was
Is not going to be nominated. For
is
match of the year.
match of the year from WWE already. The only thing that maybe would get people to vote against it would be the Hardys at the ladder match at SummerSlam.
Maybe Cena and AJ at Royal Rumble.
Maybe, yeah. But did you hear about Cena changing the finish on the Nakamura match? Do we have
Yes.
enough time to get into that before we wrap up?
Why don't we save that for after
Okay.
break? Or we'll save that for SmackDown.
Yeah, because that will definitely play
That
into our
shows
discussion
where-
of SmackDown.
That's going to show where Cena's really at right now in his career. So, is that all the news we got, Aaron?
Yes, that is all the news that
for at
we...
least this point in time.
Yeah, well, we will, of course, have news at the top of the second hour. We're going to catch everybody up on the G1, which is rapidly concluding. We will get the latest standings and results of the more important matches to you, and several other notes as well.
So, stay tuned. When we come back from break, we're going to talk last week's Monday Night Raw and preview this week's Raw. Because there was a couple things on Raw last week that was worth mentioning. Stay tuned. You're listening to Heel and Face, ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air network.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Nasty's Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty's Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasty's. Great food, family fun, with a cool name.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
Does your son or daughter struggle with nerves when it comes to competing in sports? If so, it's important to know that this is perfectly normal. In fact, professional athletes struggle with the very same anxieties that your son or daughter does while competing. Nerves are a result largely because of cognitive appraisals, and what that means is how we perceive things often dictates how our bodies will respond. You might want to think of this as fight or flight. In fact, when I work with athletes, I ask them, do they view pressure situations as challenges or do they see them as threats? If they view them as challenges, they often gain confidence, sharpen their focus, and become even more motivated to succeed. But if they see the situation as threatening, that's when anxiety creeps in and usually compounds matters. So it's important that you look at skills that can help, including deep breathing, using imagery, and reminding your child of the importance of positive self-talk.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit BeOnAir.com.
Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a new career? Not just a job, but a fulfilling career? If you want to work in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production, you need to check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus today. Their updated radio and television broadcasting program will even have you ready to work in a field you'll love in just 8 months. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios today to see it for yourself. Visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Heel and Face. Great news, by the way, in first segment. Some of that's going to feed throughout the show, I think.
Yeah, well, there's certainly a lot of things that will be affected by a lot of those notes, especially, like we said, with the Bailey injury. That is going to command at least 2 to 3 segments of time tonight. The Scott Dawson injury certainly affects the plans for the tag team scene because it looked like things were fairly set to be Rollins and Ambrose against Cesaro and Sheamus, and the Revival feuding with the Hardys, with, I guess, the Club being the odd team out. But
right. Which is still kind of weird that they're pushing Ambrose and Rollins for the tag team titles quick.
Oh, I saw something I bet you will love. You are a fan of Trailer Park Boys, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, WWE ran Halifax, which is where those guys are from, where they set the show. The cast were backstage getting pictures with the club. Like, yeah, I mean, it was perfect.
I feel like the club are now baby faces.
Yeah, well, Bubbles was there. It almost didn't look like Bubbles, but remember, he was Green Bastard, parts unknown.
Right.
Like, it's just amazing. So I hope they let him be an honorary member of Bullet Club. He's way better than Bone Soldier, that's for sure.
Or, I'm not a real big fan of Hangman Page.
Who would you cut, Page or Chase Owens? We're on a tangent here, I know, but...
Hangman Page.
Yeah?
I think only because I'm close with Chase Owens. I've met him. I've called his matches.
The thing is, with Hangman Page, it really gave him more of an identity than he would have had without it. It's not that he's somebody benefiting from that association. It's not like it brings the rest of the group down like having Horace in the NWO did.
Right. With Chase Owens, he has his own identity outside
but both
that.
of those guys are getting quite a big rub from just, the association. But anyways, back to Raw.
Back to Raw, last week's Raw. Let's just touch on last week, some of the big moments from last week's Raw that we didn't discuss on Friday. If I can remember what date that was. That was
it started out with Kurt Angle. Since they were in Pittsburgh, he was talking about, he was glad to be home. He talked about, the whole four-way match situation. Pretty good opening segment. Heyman does a great job of hyping stuff.
Well, Heyman's Heyman.
Yeah, and then we got tag team match. The top guys, the Revival, were on commentary. Again, so they might be doing a lot more of.
And it was the Hardys versus the Club, and the Hardys did pick up the win on that one.
As good as you're going to get from a first-hour match on Raw. They're all pros.
Then we had the backstage with Dean Ambrose.
I think the fans are kind of getting behind this angle a little bit. I think they really are picking between, well, I like Dean, well, I like Seth.
Now you got to pick.
Yeah.
Then we got the Cruiserweights. Akira Tozawa, Cedric Alexander, and Rich Swann versus Tony Nese, TJP, and Ari Daivari.
This was, like most of the Cruiserweight matches on Raw, done to build to 205 Live, but...
it felt like a quick match, which is the story of 205.
Yeah, it was not to get Shakespearean, but the typical amount of sound and fury signifying nothing. It went 7 or 8 minutes. Everybody got their dives and their spots in, but it just didn't equal more than the sum of its parts.
Then after that, we got this Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns. Well, Seth Rollins and Sheamus. Seth Rollins picked up the win. Then we got Roman, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. With of course, the winner being Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I thought that this was interesting that they put this on at the 10 o'clock hour. It didn't really affect the ratings as they happened to be for that night. Raw actually was number 1 on cable, but having Big Show and Big Cass close out the show seemed questionable to a lot of people, and it's made one think that they were sort of reverting to the old Saturday night's main event formula of putting on the main event when the most viewers would be tuned in, not necessarily at the end of the show. Because that's why Hulk Hogan was always on at midnight instead of 12:50.
Right, it'd keep people intrigued.
Yeah. Well, and that way the kids could go to bed early. They could see their Hogan and go to bed, and they didn't have to stay up for Tito Santana versus the Warlord or something.
Hey, don't mess with the flying jalapeno.
Hey, arriba.
Then we got the Elias versus Kalisto. Elias picked up the win. We got a clip of Pure Country, which is going to be Shawn Michaels and Willie Nelson together. That could be a fun party room. So then we got Bayley versus Nia Jax. Bayley picking up the win.
I mean, the only thing to say about this is, geez, Nia Jax really seemed careless and just tossed Bayley around like she didn't give a crap about what happened.
Ergo, what we get where we're at now.
Right. And some people, the apologists, they're still out there. They're trying to say, "Oh, it's an angle." Taz is convinced that it's an angle because
I heard that on
Michael
his show.
Cole. I can see why he's cynical because Michael Cole immediately started pushing it as an injury. But when you actually watched, did you see how she landed after that?
Yeah.
Chicken wing, man,
it's legit.
Yeah.
But Taz is one of them people mentally everything's a work.
Yeah.
Until otherwise has been proven.
Well, and he also knows their tricks because he was there to have them fed in his earpiece, just like Corey Graves is now.
Then we got Big Cass, Big Show, winner being Big Cass. I was actually shocked they made this the main event.
I think that it was misplaced. I think that the fans might have. I see what they're trying to do by putting it in the main event. They're trying to make it seem like it's a very, very important angle. But really, Big Show isn't going to have any heat because he's like the substitute for Enzo, and Enzo's gotten beat up like every week for the past 2 months.
Right.
So even though he is the Big Show, there's still this thought that like it doesn't matter what they do, Cass is still going to go over.
So that was Raw last week. Let's get into Raw this week. We're going to start from the bottom up. Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor. Is it time for Finn Balor to bring the Demon King back?
Absolutely.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, talk about a tailor-made opportunity. It was SummerSlam last year that he did it when he got hurt against Seth Rollins.
Yep.
So
and it kind of fits with him and Wyatt.
Well, and it's Wyatt's angles depend on the psychological part being relevant to both characters. Sometimes it doesn't fit. Some characters don't have that in their makeup to make a good opponent for Bray Wyatt, but this is tailor-made because you have the storyline he has to revert to this,
to the Demon King.
Yes, and that not only to maybe he's even more intimidating than Bray Wyatt. Maybe this is Bray Wyatt matching, it's a god versus a demon,
I do like that angle build because this could be done right if they would build it, the demon versus...
And this is a great way, I mean, really...
What have they done with Bray Wyatt here recently?
I just hope they put Finn Balor over in this because if they try to use it as a way to put heat on Bray Wyatt, fans will see through it like, I mean...
At this point, I don't care who wins, just give us a good match out of it because both can be helped. Even if, let's just say, Bray takes a loss, he can still come out looking clean.
Well,
looking good at least for another angle.
If he's doing the job, then he needs to have 80% of that match and just beat Wyatt all over the building and then slip on a banana peel. It would kind of suck, but, I mean, I don't think that you give Bray Wyatt, the bulk of the match. I don't think you let him put a beating on Finn and then just have a weak marginal comeback at the end.
Which the next two things we were going to discuss later. We discussed the Bayley thing already. The Rollins and Ambrose thing we kind of touched about last week's Raw. So the main event, I think the main event for this week is going to be Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, last man standing match.
Yeah.
Is it a clean match?
There's certainly the possibility.
Well, it's always a clean match in this situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last man standing stipulation means that anything can happen in the finish.
Does Joe show up?
Why not? Why not Joe fights both guys and, I mean, I'd hate to think of something off the top of my head, but I'm guessing you put Braun over. I would put Braun over.
I would.
I would put him over, and I would have it be because Roman was too busy trying to focus on both Joe and Braun. He gets beat.
Right, and then Roman still looks strong.
Yeah.
Joe still looks strong,
right.
And Braun looks even stronger.
Yeah, as long as Roman doesn't pop back up immediately after the 10 count and, beat up both heels and, walk out like, Mecha Hogan or something.
So with our last couple minutes, have you heard this rumbling that I guess Paul Heyman's been pushing for Joe to win the title?
Yes. Well, come on.
After the last match they had, I want it.
Well, just as much as anybody who was a fan of ECW when it closed, that Samoa Joe versus Rhino would have been the feud of 2001, 2002
or
in ECW.
Samoa Joe and Taz?
Well,
if Taz was still there.
Taz was already gone by then. But Joe would have definitely come into ECW. When Heyman was, 10 years ago when they were discussing Heyman coming into TNA to take over, the first thing he said was, Samoa Joe is my guy, and everybody over 40 gets their head cut off, because Joe's going to run through them all.
Well, yeah, the Samoan.
Yeah, they'd keep one guy that was a veteran and keep him strong, and that was going to be Angle.
Well, because it's Angle.
Yeah, but Heyman has wanted to feature Samoa Joe since Joe has been on the wrestling scene.
Which this could be a good way because the stipulation was set if Brock loses, he leaves.
Well, that is something. Maybe we leave this to Tyson and them to discuss the intricate details
of
of
the WWE part.
Yes.
If Brock leaves, maybe make Samoa Joe a Paul Heyman guy until Brock comes back?
I mean, obviously, I would say there's more likelihood of that since this idea originated with Paul Heyman, and that it's Samoa Joe. If it were anybody else,
we throw it out the window.
Yeah, so I'd say it's a coin flip at least, which is better odds than you might have.
Right. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown has got as much ground to cover between now and SummerSlam as Raw does. A lot of things to cover.
And I'm going to say one guy's name, Chad Gable.
Ready, willing, and Gable, just like we are when we come back.
So stay tuned. You're listening to Hill Face, ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air Network.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great. That's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts.
Fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to ScoreOnAir.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. ScoreOnAir.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
IO.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
The Be On Air Network, bringing you the best of the best in internet radio from across the country. From Miami to Denver to Chicago and Cleveland. You'll hear all the top shows from all of our college stations. For more information on the Ohio Media School, go to BeOnAir.com. Be On Air Network, bringing you the best college radio has to offer.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to BeOnAir.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
The Cincinnati Reds notched a 9-1 win over the Pirates on Tuesday, August 1st. Rookie right fielder Jesse Winker contributed by swatting his first home run in the Bigs. This was the 4th time the Reds' number 6 prospect has been called up this season, and Winker appreciates the opportunity to contribute to the club.
It's huge. You know, it's something you wait for ever since you're a kid. It's the opportunity to play in the big leagues and get the opportunity to show that you belong and that you can help contribute. So just going to take it day by day and play hard and see where the chips fall.
The Reds played 2 more games in Pittsburgh before beginning a 3-game homestand against St. Louis. In a memorable game at Fenway, the Tribe fell 12-10 on a walk-off 3-run homer by Red Sox catcher Christian Vázquez. The seesaw game was back and forth between the two clubs and saw a contender for Catch of the Year when the Indians' Austin Jackson jumped into Boston's bullpen to rob Hanley Ramirez of a home run. The Tribe holds first place in the AL Central by 2 games. They will host the Yankees at home for 4 games starting on Thursday. And legendary Notre Dame football coach Ara Parseghian has died at age 94. He won national titles in 1966 and 1973 and retired in 1974 with a record of 95, 17, and 4. He was known as one of the Holy Trinity of Notre Dame's coaches, along with Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy. This has been Monger Squiz with your Score Center update.
You're listening to the home of heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping sports.
Broadcasting from Ohio Media School in the greatest city in the state.
In the greatest state in the country.
In the greatest country in the world.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We just got done talking Raw, so now we're going to get into SmackDown. So now, Aaron, pose your question about John Cena.
Well, let's see.
About him changing.
Oh, exactly. You almost lost me there on what I was going to talk about. The finish of John Cena and Shinsuke Nakamura was changed. It was originally set to be Baron Corbin running in to cause a distraction and Nakamura getting sort of a fluke win over Cena.
Like a quick roll-up or something?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the slip on the banana peel finish. And Cena took it upon himself to change the finish to a clean win and move the Corbin deal to the post-match, which they actually aired going into 205 Live. So if you switched to the network, you could have seen it.
See, that I didn't see.
Yeah, well, Corbin just did a big beatdown and just put him through the announce table, I think. But everybody's talking about the Nakamura-Cena match, which was very, very good. The one
a lot
thing
of people were talking about that suplex.
Well, yeah, the one spot where, he just landed kind of awkward, but it was on camera,
him asking,
him
"Are you
saying,
okay?"
"Are you okay? I'm sorry," and it's like those things happen. Cena's fine. I mean, good Lord, look at the size of the man's neck.
Right.
Like, that's why he trains the way he does. So luckily he wasn't hurt.
I enjoyed the match better than what I thought I would.
Well, the fact that Nakamura got the clean win really makes it more significant. If they would have gone with that original finish, then it would have buried Nakamura and not done any favors for Cena either. But this way, it cleanly splits Baron Corbin off now with John Cena.
So, SmackDown last week was in Cleveland, Ohio at the Quicken Loans Arena. They opened it with Owens and AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, can we really say anything bad about these two when they get together?
No, I mean, it's one of those things like steak and beer. Like, yeah, they go together, they're common, but of course they go together. It's steak and beer. It's cake and ice cream. It's, hot dogs and hamburgers.
Or in the words of Rob Schneider, spaghetti and meatballs?
Indeed, yes.
So, then after the match, we got hit that at SummerSlam, AJ and Owens will happen again, but this time as Shane McMahon as the special referee.
Yeah, well, I think that gives plenty of opportunity for Kevin Owens to ruthlessly mock Shane McMahon for the next couple of weeks, which will be entertaining.
And this could also set up a big angle for WrestleMania between Owens
It's been
and
talked
Shane.
about. I would almost rather see them do it for Survivor Series and have a Shane team versus an Owens team.
What about a Hell in the Cell?
There you go.
I mean, we are talking Shane McMahon here.
Yeah.
Have Shane McMahon versus Owens with AJ as the referee for Hell in the Cell.
Maybe. I don't know. But just don't take any stupid bumps, Shane, please.
Right.
Because, of course, he's out there listening. Everybody's listening.
Right.
We know they follow our advice.
Sometimes I think they do. If you watch some of the predictions we make and sit down and watch it, I think someone up there is.
Well, there's two explanations, James. We're geniuses, which is very well likely to be the case.
Or WWE's highly predictable.
There's also the possibility they're just spies everywhere. You got to watch.
Hey, I've seen the Snowden movie.
Yeah.
So, then we get Aiden English versus Sami Zayn. This was just bad.
You will be shocked to hear me say this, but I would get rid of Aiden English before I got rid of Noam Dar. Aiden English.
Wow, that's a big, bold statement. Knowing how I know how you feel about Noam Dar.
Because at least that guy can get some kind of heat. Even if it's bad heat, it's something.
You know how you get heat on Aiden English? Put him and Michael Bennett together and make them a tag team.
I just think this whole artiste gimmick does nothing for him because it doesn't translate to conflict. There's nothing about it that, why create the perception that because somebody likes art, they're somehow creepy or weird or bad, that makes them, an antagonist. I mean, and he is terrible. I wouldn't call what he does singing, but
it does help being married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
I guess, but the act, it's like Mr. Perfect was, I'm great at everything. I'm the best bowler, I'm the best golfer, I'm the best wrestler.
And then vignettes were awesome.
Yeah, like that is a gimmick that applied to wrestling. This does not.
The West Texas Rednecks with Kurt Hennig work.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's, and with a lot of things it's implied, there's nothing intimidating about him. And
other than his paleness.
That's true. Yeah, he's intimidating me because I thought I had the record on that. So now I got some competition.
So then at the end of the match, Michael and Maria come out. I'm not even going to touch this one right now. Natalya and Carmella versus Naomi and Becky Lynch.
Rinse, repeat, same as it always is.
Yep, between now and SummerSlam. This is where I'm going to skip the whole Jinder Mahal thing because that's irrelevant. Let's get to Chad Gable and Rusev.
Talk about a heck of a little match.
I was intrigued just off the fact that how they were booking Chad Gable and how he looked against a big, mean guy like Rusev.
Yeah, this is something that usually you see WWE do on NXT, but not figure out how to do on the main roster. But, yeah, they let him go out there, have a competitive match. Rusev made him look good. He lost, but it didn't hurt him. He actually might be
lock.
Right. He might be more over because of the way he lost, which is one of those things that bookers used to really know how to manipulate, and it seems like another lost art. But Chad Gable perhaps proved me wrong in that case because these two guys really put on a good match, and not just good because of the circumstances.
It was a legitimately good match.
Like they didn't, they worked up to their ability. They didn't phone anything in.
I wonder if Arn Anderson booked this as an
I would
agent.
hope so.
Because it does have that AJ Cena flair to it from Royal Rumble.
Well, it's just what happens when you try to put guys over instead of the opposite, which they spend more time doing.
Then what we got is Randy Orton came out, and it's been official. Randy Orton versus Rusev. Are you okay seeing this, or would you rather see Chad Gable and Rusev again?
I think you could do it again on TV.
Maybe this time Gable gets the upper hand.
Well, maybe this time he wins by countout.
Due to Orton?
Rusev bails because it looks like he's on the verge of losing, and then Orton jumps him, and so that way it's a face win because the face helped the other face beat the bad guy and humiliate him, and everybody comes out looking good.
Which for a SmackDown preview, I don't see much.
No, we really...
But the big preview is Nakamura's #1 contendership now, and how do they build to SummerSlam?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to go...
Because Nakamura is purely the babyface in this feud.
Well, the thing that this really throws into focus is that WWE simply can't rely on the us versus them, role. Like, I don't mean this negatively, but why does Jinder Mahal look any more different than Shinsuke Nakamura does? They're both from other countries. They're, actually, I mean...
different sides of the globe.
Jinder is from Canada.
Right.
Like, so...
Representative from India.
Yeah, if you wanted to be properly racist, which is a sentence I never thought I would say, but, if that was your actual intent, then, then Jinder's not the bad guy any more so than Nakamura should be. So hopefully they just completely forget all of that stuff.
Like, how I feel this is going to go down, I think Nakamura wins the title, right? And Baron Corbin cashes in. And then we're back to Baron Corbin and Nakamura once again.
It seems like the 2 + 2 = 4 booking that somehow WWE manages to turn into 2 + 2 = 5. So hopefully you're...
Or 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah, hopefully you're right, because you're not the first one to pose that precise series of events, and that's the thing that seems to get caught up in WWE, is that the most logical thing becomes the thing to avoid,
right?
Because it's predictable.
So we're going to get ready to go to break, and what do we have when we come back from break? Are we going to do NXT and 205?
We definitely should recap those two shows because NXT is definitely on a roll going into
NXT
TakeOver.
was off the hook.
Yeah, so we've got to talk about certainly the main event of that show. But, yeah, we'll talk about 205 Live and NXT, and if you have time, maybe we can squeeze in some Impact.
Yeah, because that's the best spot to put them is just squeeze them in. Stay tuned. You're listening to Heel and Face, ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air network.
This is Reflog18, and you are listening to Score on Air.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit BeOnAir.com today to get started. That's BeOnAir.com.
What's good, Big Game James?
How you feeling, D.O. Jr.?
My guy, I'm super excited. High school sports is starting back, man.
Man, I'm even more excited because we got this new show starting. Tell the people what we doing, D.O. Jr.
Man, we starting the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS.
That's right. We're covering football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and track and field. If it's in season, we own it.
Hey, you know we do this for the kids, man. You can listen live by going to ScoreOnAir.com via the TuneIn app or watch us streaming live by going to the Score On Air YouTube channel,
the COHSS. Giving you nothing less, showcasing Central Ohio's best.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
Probably not a week goes by where we don't hear of some story in the sports world about an athlete using steroids or some other performance-enhancing drug. Unfortunately, a lot of these same stories have trickled down to youth sports, and we see an increasing number of kids turning to different means and measures to help improve their sport performance. Steroids, HGH, and even some of the ADHD drugs like Vyvanse, Adderall, and Ritalin have been used to improve focus and on-field performance. It's important that parents watch what their kids are taking, especially when it comes to nutritional supplements. Keep in mind these are not governed by the FDA, and in many cases we don't have enough research to tell whether there will be long-term negative effects. Train right, eat right, do moderate weight training and solid cardio work, and you'll be in the best position to get the most out of your youth sport experience.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit BeOnAir.com.
The Score wants to make you, a winner. Each week, ScoreOnAir.com is giving away a prize pack that'll knock your socks off.
Ouch, hey, that hurt.
How? First of all, like us on Facebook, and every Monday we will pin up a post to the top of our feed, updating you on what the week's prize and contest details are. Now here, take your socks back. A winner will be selected every week at 7 p.m. Friday on our combat sports show, Tyson's Punch-Out. So give us a call or text to get qualified. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. Here's how to qualify. Message us on Facebook at Your Score On Air or Twitter, also at Your Score On Air with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth. Or you can just simply call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to qualify to win T-shirts, sporting memorabilia, and more. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score. The Ohio Media School wants you to be part of the first ever Mastermind Exhibition on August 17th, 2017 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the Columbus campus. We are teaming up with experts in radio, television, and digital media to help you identify, entertain, and leverage an audience to promote your personal brand. This year's theme is BYOA, Bring Your Own Audience. Don't miss the first ever Mastermind Exhibition on August 17th, 2017 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Ohio Media School.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio in Columbus. Online sports radio, WSOA ScoreOnAir.com, the Score.
Welcome back, everybody. NXT 205 Live. Which one do you want to start with? Do you want to get the pain out of the way first?
Yeah, let's start with 205 Live. But yes, we are wrapping up hour number 1 here of the Heel and Face Show. We are your source for pro wrestling news, analysis, and opinions. We're glad that you are tuning in with the TuneIn Radio app, available for your Android or your Apple mobile device, or if you are watching the live streaming webcam footage, courtesy of Score on Air's YouTube feed. And we also want to encourage you to visit the archives over at mixcloud.com/scoreonair for commercial-free episodes of not just this show, but the entire lineup of Score on Air, covering all traditional sports, obviously covering NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. We're getting close to the start of both the pro and college football seasons. There's still a lot of stuff going on with NBA talent being moved back and forth. So if you want to hear about it, Score on Air will have somebody talking about it. But we're going to get into our look at the 205 Live show from Tuesday night. As we said during our SmackDown report, that it began with the aftermath of the John Cena-Nakamura match, with Baron Corbin attacking John Cena, or working over Nakamura until Cena makes the save, and then it ended up with Corbin going through the table. I believe I had earlier said that Corbin put Cena through the table. I just had it backwards.
Yeah, but I was watching 205 Live. The table didn't collapse.
No.
Unless they built that thing real quick again.
Yeah, but as far as the matches went on 205 Live, Jack Gallagher versus Brian Kendrick was the opening match. It really wasn't much of a match, but it's the start of a less silly and clownish Jack Gallagher, and Brian Kendrick is the perfect opponent for him, and I love that direction for Jack Gallagher, so far so good.
Which I did for the first time in a while. I actually did watch 205 Live for this. And that match I wasn't a big fan of, but I do like Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, well, it was more angle than it was match. It was really only like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so on that basis it was fine. The thing that I had kind of a problem with, and the reason I've tuned in, or at least made it a point to this week, was the return of Graham Metalik, and he took on Tony Nese.
The man that refuses to fly? No, that's the other
No,
one.
that's Drew Gulak, yes. But Tony Nese, I mean, you know, I don't see why they put him over. Like, he's been kind of put as the job guy, like the guy who goes out there and has great matches but is not a star. And Graham Metalik should be featured as highly as they feature Tozawa and you know, anybody else.
As of
TJP,
Davari.
yes. Certainly he's got more raw ability and more experience than someone like Davari, but just good to see him work, and, you know, you take what you can get. But the main event was Tozawa versus Davari. Crowd didn't really care, but by the end of the match, it started to come together, and, you know, it was perfectly fine. So it was a good main event, not as good as past weeks, but good enough. And it's just building to SummerSlam. So I'd say better than most weeks, but nothing spectacular.
Which just seems to be the story of 205 Live, honestly. Because they were called out today on Bruce Pritchard.
Well, it seems
from Friday's show.
It seems like there's more and more open talk about needing to put more talent on the show, or needing to finally make the obvious changes to the taping format to just create a better atmosphere. Because it's unfair to expect these guys to overcome so many obstacles in the process of putting on a show.
Live before SmackDown.
Completely. And there's be no different. I mean, I think you would have the same amount of viewers that of the live feed on the network, because I assume 80% of the people who watch 205 Live watch it on demand after the fact.
Right, just to get to the matches they want to see. So, you ready to switch gears?
Yeah, NXT was quite a compelling show, and built very strongly from start to finish. Started out with the return of Johnny Gargano, who has new music, a new graphic package for his entrance. He beat recent jobber extraordinaire for NXT, Raul Mendoza, but Mendoza looked pretty strong. Certainly didn't look like an enhancement talent, or as much of one as some other guys do.
No, he actually looked good. It's good to see Gargano back, though.
Yeah, well, Gargano's got the crowd behind him. You know,
we're all waiting for Ciampa to get back.
Yeah, nowhere to go but up. But Ciampa's still probably got another 8 months. He's out for a while. But recap of Sanity and Authors of Pain, building to their match.
I can't wait to see this match at TakeOver.
This was a weird segment coming next, though, with Asuka. I agree. I want to see that, too. But Asuka came out, cut a promo that really made her sound like a babyface. Ember Moon sort of like jumped her from behind, and hit the
Eclipse.
The big top rope stunner, and so it really looked like Asuka just got jumped, and laid out instead of getting caught with her pants down proverbially, But we got a promo from Bobby Roode talking more nonsense about Roderick Strong.
I did like the fact that Roderick Strong did show up.
Yes, that was very important. You couldn't have him just get buried and then move on with no rebuttal. We saw that happen enough times in WCW with the NWO to know what that does to a character and how fast it can totally kill something.
But what I did not like is Drew McIntyre's number one contender.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, do you think that they are doing this to keep the fans interested in Roderick Strong versus Bobby Roode after Roode versus McIntyre?
But who's to say between now and TakeOver we don't get it as a triple threat match?
Well, honestly, I'm thinking...
I mean, yes, we know it's taped up until that moment.
Honestly, I'm thinking that that somehow Roderick costs Roode the title, Drew is the new champion, and Roode and Roderick have the grudge match feud.
Then have Roderick beat Roode. Roode can eventually come up to the main roster.
Yes.
Then
he puts those guys over, and then you have Drew McIntyre with a ton of opponents. Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, guy who we would see later on tonight in the main event. Before we get there, we're going to get the Street Profits next week.
Do we know who these guys are yet?
I don't. I'm pretty sure they've been in NXT before under different names.
Of Crime Time to me.
Well, it looks like a slightly improved version. We'll have to see. I think it's starting out more strongly than Crime Time did. The women's match was Sonya Deville, who I'm still not at all sold on as a performer, against what looked like the bastard sister of Charlotte. It looked like...
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that.
Yeah, like maybe, Flair really did...
Flair hit it first.
Yeah, maybe there is some sort of lineage there. I mean, it's easy to... make offhanded jokes about stuff like that, but this Jenna Van Bimmel did bear quite a strong resemblance to Charlotte. A bit more sturdy in terms of her build, but it was okay. It was what it was.
So let's just get to what we all came here for NXT main event.
Oh, man, Kyle O'Reilly.
Hideo Itami knocked out cold.
Yeah, that was a great deal, yeah. With him coming out to, rant and rave, and then Aleister Black comes out for his match and lays him out quite nonchalantly, in fact.
Right, with the black mask like it was nothing.
And then just sits there waiting for his opponent, who turns out to be Kyle freaking O'Reilly, which is amazing.
Gave him 15 minutes, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
They had such a realistic, grappling, striking, style of match that it was very easy to get sucked into. Very, very believable. I mean, I've seen, I've seen less realistic looking UFC fights, or at least less exciting ones, certainly.
Right, especially Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we don't. Well, Dane has already buried him 6 feet beneath the earth. Why do we need to pile on?
Let's save that for Tyson.
He's not getting the title match that he should have got. So he's his laziness cost him several $100,000.
So, I mean, I'm waiting. I think as of right now, I'm more excited for TakeOver than SummerSlam.
I am too.
Again,
very, very strong card built up. I think it's interesting. On one hand, I don't like the concept of beating Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly on their first match in, but they both lost to the same guy. They didn't get squashed. They got to go out there and show what they could do, but they still put over an established guy in a storyline, which is fine in the grand scheme of things, and they're more likely going to reunite these guys as a team. And if they do, they should be main roster bound about 10 seconds after they decide to re-team them up, because they would be, the best team in the world once again, like they were for Ring of Honor and like they were for New Japan.
So we're going to go to break, and when we come back, New Japan, Ring of Honor?
Yes.
And I do want to pose something that fits into the Ring of Honor question. I have a question for you on Ring of Honor.
Okay, well, we will get everybody up to speed on the G1 Climax and then fill out the rest of the time with some news and some reports about Ring of Honor and a few other locations and events as well. So stick around for more Heel and Face, your source for pro wrestling news, analysis, and opinions, only on scoreonair.com, part of the Be On Air network.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
The Be On Air Network, bringing you the best of the best in internet radio from across the country. From Miami to Denver to Chicago and Cleveland. You'll hear all the top shows from all of our college stations. For more information on the Ohio Media School, go to BeOnAir.com. Be On Air Network, bringing you the best college radio has to offer.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great, that's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts.
Fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to ScoreOnAir.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. ScoreOnAir.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
Oh, wait.
IO.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
Attention gamers. You want to play video games, right? But you want to show the world.
Show the world.
The world, Craig. Well, Ohio Media presents
Next Level Education.
Join our live Twitch stream from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Friday. Learn how to stream and play video games all at the same time.
Say what?
Now that's what I call
Next Level Education.
Next Level Education. Brought to you by the Ohio Media.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
The Cincinnati Reds notched a 9-1 win over the Pirates on Tuesday, August 1st. Rookie right fielder Jesse Winker contributed by swatting his first home run in the Bigs. This was the 4th time the Reds' number 6 prospect has been called up this season, and Winker appreciates the opportunity to contribute to the club.
It's huge. You know, it's something you wait for ever since you're a kid. It's the opportunity to play in the big leagues and get the opportunity to show that you belong and that you can help contribute. So just going to take it day by day and play hard and see where the chips fall.
The Reds played 2 more games in Pittsburgh before beginning a 3-game homestand against St. Louis. In a memorable game at Fenway, the Tribe fell 12-10 on a walk-off 3-run homer by Red Sox catcher Christian Vazquez. The seesaw game was back and forth between the two clubs and saw a contender for Catch of the Year when the Indians' Austin Jackson jumped into Boston's bullpen to rob Hanley Ramirez of a home run. The Tribe holds first place in the AL Central by 2 games. They will host the Yankees at home for 4 games starting on Thursday. And legendary Notre Dame football coach Ara Parseghian has died at age 94. He won national titles in 1966 and 1973 and retired in 1974 with a record of 95, 17, and 4. He was known as one of the holy trinity of Notre Dame's coaches, along with Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy. This has been Monger Squiz with your Score Center update.
You're listening to the home of the latest sports news and updates in Columbus.
Streaming live on YouTube and the worldwide TuneIn Radio app. This is ScoreOnAir.com.
The Ohio Media School presents the inaugural Mastermind Exhibition, brought to you by the Pixel Design Group. Thursday, August 17th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. This year's theme is BYOA. Bring your own audience. As a media professional or someone aspiring to be one, you don't want to miss the 3 breakout sessions at Mastermind Exhibition, led by top-notch media professionals that will teach you how to digitize your brand, entertain your audience, and find your audience. For more information and to RSVP for this free event, call 614-655-5250 and follow us on all social media platforms. Act now. Seats are limited.
like talking Buckeyes?
Yes! Oh my God!
So do we. Just not all the time.
We're home for the largest variety of sports talk. This is the new generation of sports talk radio. ScoreOnAir.com, the score.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Hurd.
The truth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Hurd.
The truth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Hurd.
The truth.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Heel and Face Show. My name is Aaron Hurt, of course, joined as always by the mayor of the Squared Circle, James Hand. We are going to kick off hour number 2 like we always do with discussing the rest of the world of pro wrestling. But before we get into that, we have a couple of to share with everybody. First of all, we have a new prize pack here from Score On Air. So call 614-641-0674 to provide your name, your date of birth, your phone number, and an email address to become eligible to win this contest. We have a great T-shirt here. If you are watching it on YouTube, you should be able to see it. But the announcement and the contest details are always posted at the top of Score On Air's Facebook page and their daily feed, so please refer to that. If you would like to submit your information through Facebook, that is also acceptable, but we encourage you to follow that link. We'd also like you to follow us here at Heel and Face on Facebook and on Twitter, which we can be found by searching Heel and Face 2016. So like those and follow those accounts, and you can reach out to us and share your thoughts and your opinions and your questions about any of the subjects that we cover here on our program. And you can also use that number I mentioned before, 614-641-0674, to call us here directly at the studio. And we once again would like to thank everybody who's joining us on the Score On Air YouTube feed, on the TuneIn Radio app, and however you may be experiencing this program, we are glad to have you on board. And we are going to talk about the G1 from New Japan, which is building to its exciting conclusion. We have one more, let's see, 3 more nights of block competition. Night 16 will be, I believe, early in the morning for us here in this part of the world. But the final 3 shows, the final night of the A and the B block, and the finals, will all be carried on New Japan World with English commentary, and those go down this weekend. So we want to make sure everybody knows how things stack up going into that. The last night of B block action saw Toru Yano defeat Tama Tonga. Typical Yano comedy match, low blow and a roll-up. Kojima beat Sonata. Kojima, the sentimental favorite, of course, got a very good win. Michael Elgin beat Minoru Suzuki. Match probably would have been a little bit better if there wasn't so much of your standard Suzuki-gun interference. But the 2 main event matches had very surprising results, as Juice Robinson defeated Kenny Omega, giving him only his 2nd loss of the tournament, and Evil beating Kazuchika Okada, giving Okada his 1st loss in the tournament, most likely setting up Evil getting a title match later on down the line. But we will recap the standings as they are after 7 nights of B-block action. Okada in the lead with a record of 6-1 and 12 points. 10 points for Kenny Omega and Evil. Sonata and Suzuki are both still alive with records of 4-3 and 8 points. But the rest of these guys in the group have been eliminated. Yano, Elgin, Tonga, Juice Robinson, and Kojima with records of 3-4, 2-5, and 1-6, respectively. And moving back over to the A block, Nagata defeated Zack Sabre Jr., giving Yuji Nagata his 1st win in the G1, and it certainly was long anticipated, and the crowd very excited to see that match. Kota Ibushi defeated Yoshihashi. Bad Luck Fale got a somewhat surprising win over Hiroki Goto, just because of the way that the standings sort of played out. Naito beat Makabe, and then Tanahashi defeated Ishii in what is being talked about as truly one of the finest matches of the tournament, and that says a whole lot about how excellent that match must be. But the Block A standings, only 2 men are still mathematically eligible, and they sit at the top of the block with records of 6-2, giving them each 12 points. Talking about the one man of talent, the ace of the universe, Hiroshi Tanahashi, against the man of destino, Tetsuya Naito. And so the rest of the guys, Ibushi, Bad Luck Fale, Ishii, Zack Sabre Jr., Goto, Makabe, Yoshihashi, and Yuji Nagata have all been eliminated. So we will see how this all plays out. It looks like it is going to come down to, on the final night of competition for each group, Naito versus Tanahashi to determine the A block winner, and Okada versus Omega to determine the B block winner. Should both men continue to go undefeated, which they only have one more night left, but it would be, if Okada lost to Omega as the standings set as they are now, Omega would advance with the same record but having the tiebreaker for the victory in singles competition. And so that is the up-to-date recap of the G1. Please, if you have not done so already, check out NJPW 1972 for an English language website that will get you all of the information on this direct from the source. And check out New Japan World for the live streaming commentary from the English announcers Cyrus and Kevin Kelly, or the Japanese feed if you prefer, if you're a purist, and catch all the action live as this year's tournament rounds out. And then we have a couple of notes about Ring of Honor that we want to bring up. Despite having only announced an appearance by Kenny Omega and no other talent on the show, no matches announced, Ring of Honor's forthcoming appearance in Chicago has already sold nearly 80% of the tickets available, and the capacity for that venue, for that event. It's in an old ECW stronghold, the Odeum in Villa Park, Illinois, where ECW put about 6,500 people in the building for the Anarchy Rules event in 1999. Usually, Ring of Honor has ran Chicago Ridge as their traditional outlet in the Chicagoland area. But apparently just the mere prospect of having Kenny Omega on the card has brought the fans out in droves, and it looks like this could be a record-setting revenue generator and attendance for Ring of Honor, so congratulations to them for that. There was discussion of Kenny Omega defending the U.S. title, but that announcement was pulled because it did not want to give away possibly results of future title matches that Omega may be set to have in New Japan. So most likely he will be defending that belt there against Juice Robinson, with Juice Robinson's victory over him in the G1. But adherence to detail, something that's lacking in the Western world, but that the Japanese are much better at, is a result of that. So, James, how much time do we have left?
Yeah, about a minute and a half.
Okay, well, that gives us enough time to talk a little bit about Ring of Honor, as they are headed here October the 21st as part of the War of the Worlds tour. That show
you never know, Kenny Omega might be there.
Well, we know that the Young Bucks and Cody are scheduled. We know that Kazarian and Daniels are scheduled. We know that Kushida from New Japan is set to defend the TV championship if he is still, in fact, the holder of said belt at that time. Yoshihashi, I believe Hiroki Goto. I know a couple of more New Japan guys. Killer Elite Squad, Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. Those are the names that have been announced so far, but we're very excited about that for Ring of Honor's return here to the capital city. Hopefully we can get some exclusive access and interviews and meet and greet opportunities with these guys this time. If nothing else, we'll just be in the crowd to enjoy the show.
The only reason I say Kenny Omega, because he is scheduled to defend the U.S. title the day after in Chicago.
I had just, in fact, discussed that when you were out. They rescinded that announcement officially because they didn't want to give away or foreshadow the results of some forthcoming defenses New Japan has planned for Omega for the U.S. belt. But basically, everybody knows that he's taken on Juice Robinson for the U.S. belt at that show. So,
you know what? That's going to be a killer match, too.
Yeah, well, Juice Robinson beat Omega in their the Omega's last G1 match. And, other than Elgin, Juice Robinson's the only guy to beat him, and Elgin has beaten Omega in the past for titles, so I think that this is a big deal for Juice Robinson, and it just shows how much faith they have in him and how good they are at progressing guys up the ladder naturally, where he went from being a young boy to he beat a guy that was a little bit more experienced, a little bit more established, and suddenly the fans bought into him more.
And now,
look where he is. Now he's made.
And now all of a sudden, Okada's saying he's the next face of New Japan.
Yeah, in 3 to 5 years, because Okada was thought of as like a project for Gedo, and like people question, does he really have it? And then you see where he is. He's having possibly the best run any one wrestler has had in the span of one calendar year since.
Other than AJ?
Yeah, well, you can argue, but you've got to really do your research. I would say just this year for Okada, the best year that anybody's had since Flair and Steamboat in '89. But
I agree with that.
But anyway, that is the end of this segment. We are going to take it to a break now, but when we come back, we are going to talk about all sorts of other stuff.
What about PWA?
We will definitely get into PWA if that's where you'd like to go after this.
We can do PWA, some podcasts, some history, because yesterday was a pretty significant history mark for WWF fans.
Yes, indeed. We should recap all of those things as well.
And plus, we haven't done history in a while.
No, we have not. We usually haven't had much time, but we do today. So stick around for more of that and a whole lot more on your source for pro wrestling news, analysis, and opinions, the Heel and Face Show, part of the Be On Air network, only on ScoreOnAir.com.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Nasty's Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty's Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasty's. Great food, family fun, with a cool name.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
Does your son or daughter struggle with nerves when it comes to competing in sports? If so, it's important to know that this is perfectly normal. In fact, professional athletes struggle with the very same anxieties that your son or daughter does while competing. Nerves are a result largely because of cognitive appraisals, and what that means is how we perceive things often dictates how our bodies will respond. You might want to think of this as fight or flight. In fact, when I work with athletes, I ask them, do they view pressure situations as challenges or do they see them as threats? If they view them as challenges, they often gain confidence, sharpen their focus, and become even more motivated to succeed. But if they see the situation as threatening, that's when anxiety creeps in and usually compounds matters. So it's important that you look at skills that can help, including deep breathing, using imagery, and reminding your child of the importance of positive self-talk.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit BeOnAir.com.
Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a new career? Not just a job, but a fulfilling career? If you want to work in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production, you need to check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus today. Their updated radio and television broadcasting program will even have you ready to work in a field you'll love in just 8 months. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios today to see it for yourself. Visit BeOnAir.com. That's BeOnAir.com.
The Ohio Media School presents the inaugural Mastermind Exhibition, brought to you by the Pixel Design Group. Thursday, August 17th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. This year's theme is BYOA. Bring your own audience. As a media professional or someone aspiring to be one, you don't want to miss the 3 breakout sessions at Mastermind Exhibition, led by top-notch media professionals that will teach you how to digitize your brand, entertain your audience, and find your audience. For more information and to RSVP for this free event, call 614-655-5250 and follow us on all social media platforms. Act now. Seats are limited.
Symbol that hit their mouth to spell your demons welcome home. And every day that you spend searching for the womb of your rebirth, preserving every sacred organ just to show what she's worth.
Welcome back, everybody. I am the Mayor of the Squared Circle. We're getting towards the end. We got a couple more segments. Before we get into any more, we're going to talk some history. We're going to start from yesterday because yesterday there was some big moments in history before we even get in today. 24 years ago today in Sheffield, England, Hulk Hogan defeated Yokozuna by DQ in a WWF Championship match. That was Hogan's last WWE match after nearly 10 years with the company. And we all know what happens after that. He shows up on WCW. So, 23 years ago today, Chris Candido and Brian Lee defeated the Rock and Roll Express to regain the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championships just one day after losing. And Candido and Lee would lose the titles back to the Express 2 days later. 22 years ago today, Clash of Champions 31. This one had Sting and the Road Warriors defeated Ming and Kurosawa when Hawk pinned Kurosawa. Diamond Dallas Page defeated the German dancing machine Alex Wright. The Renegade defeated Paul Orndorff. Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry defeated Bunkhouse Buck, Dick Slater, Colonel Robert Parker, and earn a championship match. They also on that card, Vader defeated Arn Anderson and Ric Flair in a handicap match. For what that's worth. 16 years ago today on Raw in Anaheim, California, Tajiri defeated X-Pac, which brings... Did you bring up the table for 3?
I forgot about that. Yeah, let's see. So, what did you say it was? X-Pac, DDP, and Scott Hall?
Yes, it's WCW and NWO.
Okay, and I heard about another one. That's Sting, Ric Flair, and Ricky Steamboat.
That one's going to be interesting alone, just off the stories.
Oh, yeah.
Then, in that show main event 16 years ago, The Rock defeated Shane McMahon in the street fight. It was The Rock's first match since the night after WrestleMania 17.
Uh-huh.
Then 10 years ago, yesterday, Vince McMahon returns to WWE programming for the first time since the Monday after Chris Benoit's incident.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, I think to say that was awkward would, I should almost get, smacked in the face for using such an inappropriate term. But, I mean, that was really all they could do was to just drop the whole angle and just try to forget it ever happened and bring Vince back. And I didn't think the angle really would have gone anywhere anyway. I think, it's one of those ridiculous ideas that they had, and they just kind of had to go with it because the boss said so.
Right, and for the younger fans that don't know what happened, Vince McMahon faked his own death to see what people really thought of him.
Yeah, and the whole limo thing, like, what's funny is that Donald Trump actually sent a real message to Linda McMahon expressing condolences. Like, he bought it. Like, he thought it was real. And real newspapers put out reports that, like, Vince died.
Right, I was seeing it on, like, CNN and stuff.
Yeah, like, within the first couple of hours of the show going off the air, like, too many silly marks out there who had access to major media outlets, revealed their ignorance, I suppose, which I do on a regular basis on this particular media outlet, so there you go.
So we have 3 birthdays from yesterday. Rebby Sky, Rebecca Reyes.
Yes, Mama Hardy, like, talk about leader of that clan, fiercely protecting her brood.
I didn't know Omega Wrestling was owned by Matt Hardy.
They started that when they were teenagers, before they had even signed WWE contracts. They might have done jobber appearances, but no, they were literally not even out of high school when they had their own promotion that ran, like, real shows that drew serious crowds and stuff. They worked with a guy, but, like, it was basically Matt Hardy was doing his own deal.
He was the Paul Heyman.
In a sense, I mean, he was the more appropriate analogy, I guess, would be a Jerry Lawler in that he was the Booker wrestler. But yes, Omega, and that's where we got Shane Helms. A lot of Shannon Moore, another North Carolina guy that came out of that scene.
Then it was yesterday was also the 31st birthday of Bram. Ashley Flair, or Charlotte Flair's ex-husband.
There were some stories about an indie show, I believe it was in the UK, but an indie show where he was working against a guy and stiffed him really bad and just was apparently really unprofessional with this guy, and everybody in the locker room was getting on him on social media about it. I haven't heard too much about it since then, but that's the last I heard about Bram, was that, he just did something that some people didn't think was cool.
Which we had a lot more birthdays than I thought. Today would have been the 69th birthday. Yesterday would have been the 69th birthday of Dino Bravo.
Oh, boy. World's strongest man, or at least Canada's strongest man.
Now we're getting into some old school guys. 75th birthday of Jimmy Valent.
Boogie Woogie Man, baby. Now, that is one guy that will never, ever be replicated or duplicated or copied, or there's nobody that can do what that guy did the way he did it. I mean, Colt Cabana definitely stole a lot of his mannerisms and was clearly inspired a lot by Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant. But go back and watch some NWA World Championship Wrestling on the network from like '87 and just look at this maniac. I mean, and talk about somebody who got the most out of the least. Like, literally, his matches would be punches, a noogie spot, a clothesline, and his big high spot finishing move was an elbow drop.
And yesterday was the 84th birthday of Jake the Snake Roberts' dad, Grizzly.
Yes, Grizzly Smith, a longtime right-hand man, associate booker of Bill Watts. Before that, he was a notorious wrestler. He was a member of a tag team called the Kentuckians, who in the 60s, from my limited knowledge of that era of pro wrestling, were, quite fearsome, and many people did not question the legitimacy of said tandem. But
the only person that was not a fan of Grizzly was his own son.
Well, I was going to say there were a lot of other people, as many people that swear by Grizzly Smith and thank him for the great things he did for their career and the way he treated him. As many other people say that he was a low-life scumbag who did the most reprehensible and, inexcusable things possible. I mean, up to and including fathering children in an incestuous relationship.
And that's how they say. I guess that's how Jake the Snake says he was conceived.
That's what he says. That his story was that his dad was dating a woman, and his dad then had relations with that woman's young daughter,
12-year-old daughter.
Yeah, which resulted in Jake. Sam Houston is Jake's half brother, or no, I think I don't remember. Sam Houston and Rockin' Robin are married, and one of them is related to Jake. I think it's Sam Houston.
If you really want to know how Jake the Snake feels about his dad, watch the resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Well,
Roberts.
watch Beyond the Mat.
Yes.
All the way back in 1999. I mean, that provides the most context and justification, for lack of a better term, for some of Jake's behavior, at least in the terms he put it in that particular film.
So we got a couple more before we go into break. If we have to, we can go into the next segment with this. 52 years ago, Larry Hennig and Harley Race defeated Vern Gagne and the Crusher to win the AWA World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I don't think you would find four tougher men in the ring at one time, honestly.
Then we have here 16 years ago, Diamond Dallas Page and Canyon defeated the APA to win the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, I believe this led to that awful cage match that Undertaker and Kane had against Canyon and DDP. It wasn't as bad as the one that those guys had against Chronic. That was utterly unwatchable. But this was, I mean, at least Canyon and DDP took some bumps in that one.
Canyon does not get the respect as a worker that he deserves.
Not at
kind of like Chris Candido's the same way.
Well, both guys were definitely appreciated within the business for their exceptional skill, athleticism, timing, innovative ideas. But yeah, both almost got taken for granted. I would say Canyon, you know, for as many times as that guy got ripped off by other wrestlers, you know, it's amazing that he was able to keep coming up with new things for himself.
And then this is the big one before we go into break. 15 years ago, at the NWA TNA Weekly pay-per-view, Ron the Truth Killings defeated Ken Shamrock to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. With that win, Killings became the first and to this day only officially recognized African-American NWA World Champion ever.
Yes, Ron Simmons won the WCW title in 1992, but as people who are familiar with that era know that the WCW and NWA titles had been separated by that point. So Ron Simmons gets the credit for being the first black champion of a quote-unquote major promotion. However, yes, Ron Killings has that claim to fame.
Or for the young fans, R-Truth.
Yes. Well, for the old fans, K-Quick or K-Crush.
Yeah, with
him and Road Dogg, they come in to get rowdy.
Then it's the 51st birthday of Christina Wolf, better known as Ric Flair's head nurse, Double D.
Wow.
Which she was the set to be like the China of WCW.
Asia, was that what she
Yes,
was?
that was her name.
She's married to the guy who was the Demon, Dale Torborg.
Yep, it actually says it here. They would marry in 2000. So it doesn't say they're divorced or not now, but
no. Shivani and Conrad absolutely buried that whole gimmick when they were talking about it.
Was that today?
No, that was a while back. I forget why they were talking about it. It was something about WCW 2000, which, you know, could be literally anything.
Right.
But, yeah, he just, you know, gave it what it deserved. But, yeah.
We're going to leave it there. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I got a question for Aaron with Ring of Honor. We're going to talk some PWA. And anything else we can hit you with on WWE, New Japan, whatever we're feeling. So stay tuned. You're listening to Heel and Face, ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air Network.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great, that's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts.
Fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to ScoreOnAir.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. ScoreOnAir.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
OH.
ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
The Be On Air Network, bringing you the best of the best in internet radio from across the country. From Miami to Denver to Chicago and Cleveland. You'll hear all the top shows from all of our college stations. For more information on the Ohio Media School, go to BeOnAir.com. Be On Air Network, bringing you the best college radio has to offer.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
The Cincinnati Reds notched a 9-1 win over the Pirates on Tuesday, August 1st. Rookie right fielder Jesse Winker contributed by swatting his first home run in the Bigs. This was the 4th time the Reds' number 6 prospect has been called up this season, and Winker appreciates the opportunity to contribute to the club.
It's huge. You know, it's something you wait for ever since you're a kid. It's the opportunity to play in the big leagues and get the opportunity to show that you belong and that you can help contribute. So just going to take it day by day and play hard and see where the chips fall.
The Reds played 2 more games in Pittsburgh before beginning a 3-game homestand against St. Louis. In a memorable game at Fenway, the Tribe fell 12-10 on a walk-off 3-run homer by Red Sox catcher Christian Vazquez. The seesaw game was back and forth between the two clubs and saw a contender for Catch of the Year when the Indians' Austin Jackson jumped into Boston's bullpen to rob Hanley Ramirez of a home run. The Tribe holds first place in the AL Central by 2 games. They will host the Yankees at home for 4 games starting on Thursday. And legendary Notre Dame football coach Ara Parseghian has died at age 94. He won national titles in 1966 and 1973 and retired in 1974 with a record of 95, 17, and 4. He was known as one of the holy trinity of Notre Dame's coaches, along with Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy. This has been Monger Squiz with your Score Center update.
Welcome back, everybody. We just got done doing some history. Did you have any history that I missed?
Not that I was able to uncover, so I think we hit most of the highlights. But do you want to get into your Ring of Honor discussion first, or you want to cover the events of PWA?
Let's discuss PWA first.
Okay. Well, it was your typical packed house at 737 Slocum Avenue, the PWA Ohio School of Pro Wrestling, but it was a very interesting show from top to bottom. It was my first opportunity as the full-time ring announcer, so I was quite busy, but it started out with me talking to Tony James, who wasted my time, as he is fond of doing, by pretending like he was going to for lack of a better term, turn over a new leaf. But it was all a big setup, and Chris Payne came out and had to be, he was practically foaming at the mouth over what Tony James had done, costing him the title, as Jimmy Fahrenheit was able to cash in his shot at greatness and take the belt that Payne had just won from Chris Pruitt. So it ended with those two guys deciding to team up to take on Jimmy Fahrenheit and U.S. champion Randy the Rowdy Hillbilly, which was the main event of the show. But we also had L.A. Cordova against a newcomer named Blake Hanma, who looks like he has a lot of potential. But L.A. Cordova will get his rematch at Randy the Rowdy Hillbilly for that aforementioned U.S. Championship on the next PWA show, which is August the 26th, back at the School of Pro Wrestling in Lancaster. Tickets are $8 and $10 for that event, but we will also have Chris Payne versus Tony James with Jimmy Fahrenheit as the special guest referee. So obviously nothing got settled in that situation. In fact, the night ended with the majority of the locker room having to come out and separate James and Payne after they lost to Fahrenheit and Randy, who won with a picture-perfect Midnight Express-like rocket launcher that definitely got the crowd on their feet. But we saw JT Hogg be challenged to a strut-off by Morgan Taylor, and didn't take too kindly to the fans disagreeing with Morgan's opinion of his dance skills. But it seems like Morgan Taylor picked on the wrong guy, because JT Hogg is is going to try to do some things to Morgan Taylor that he probably never imagined somebody would try to do to him. So
all I can picture is deliverance.
Yeah, well, there will be horseshoes involved. That's all we'll say.
That's all we know.
Yeah. But let's see, what else did we see on... Morgan Taylor did, in fact, compete against another newcomer, relatively, Tommy Forte. Morgan Taylor thinks he deserves better competition. And like we said, he found some big competition in JT Hogg. If that's the first opponent he wants to jump on, he might have a hard time jumping off, as the old promo cliche goes. But all of that stuff will continue on the 26th, which is the next event from PWA. As we said, 737 Slocum Avenue in Lancaster, Ohio. Going to be a tremendous show. I hope everybody comes out to see it. We should also encourage you to check out pwaohio.com, PWA, Premier Wrestling Alliance on Facebook, and the new Premier Wrestling Alliance Twitter account. So there has been some footage from the event that has come up, footage from the main event, footage from the LA Cordova match. So look around on Facebook to see if you can find that and get a few glimpses of the way things went down. And like I said, can't wait for the next show here in just a couple of weeks.
Let's throw one out that we haven't brought up. Rockstar Pro and the Wrestling Revolvers, the effing Catalina Wrestling Mixer.
Oh, okay.
That was over the weekend.
All right, and this was in Dayton, okay.
At Rockstar Pro Arena. Shane Strickland defeated MJF. That was in first round of the Wrestling Mixer tournament, because I can't say effing without wanting to say it all.
I think Shane Strickland might be booked in literally every independent promotion in the country.
Probably. Simon Grimm defeated Ethan Page.
That's the former Simon Gotch.
Yeah. AR Fox defeated Alex Colon.
Man, they got a bunch of talent on this show.
Ray Phoenix defeated Jeremiah. This was all just tournament matches.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Lucha Underground battle there.
Then you had Palmer defeated Desmond Xavier, Jordan Lynn X, Space Monkey, Sammy Callahan, Zachary Wentz, Marone Reed, and Trey Miguel to win the Open Invite Scramble Championship.
My goodness. I thought when you said Jeremiah, I thought you meant Jeremiah Crane, like the guy from... And then Sammy Callahan. He was on the show, just not as his Lucha Underground character. So
then we had Ray Phoenix defeated Shane Strickland to advance to the finals.
Bet that was one heck of a match, man. It sounds like a tremendous card up and down with the sheer... amount of talent they put together in one event. I mean, that's literally a who's who of independent wrestling, at the moment. I mean, there's, if they had another 3 hours worth to get more guys, I'm sure they could have squeezed in, a Matt Riddle or somebody. But
well, we still got 3 more matches that went down. AR Fox defeated Simon Grimm. Jessica Havoc defeated Jake Christ. Ray Phoenix defeated AR Fox to win the tournament.
My goodness.
Yeah, that was a crazy show.
That sounds like that was, worth the price of admission for sure.
Yeah, and that was out there in Dayton. It was the 4th, so Friday. This was all going down at the Catalina Wrestling Mixer.
Well, man, if their next show is comparable to that, then we are definitely going to keep an eye on those guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Then we had Chikara.
Yeah, they had an event over the weekend.
Chikarasaurus Rex.
Yeah, I looked at some of the results from that. It was... it seemed like a fairly interesting show from what I read.
A lot of these names I can't even pronounce.
They have some very unique characters and personalities in Chikara. But no, just check that one out. If you're a Chikara fan, then you know where to go.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil that for you because that happened.
I don't know if that was carried live on their video streaming service or if it's been...
It was from the 5th.
Yeah.
So we'll at least give them until Friday to get the results that they want. So we're going to get ready to go to break. I will save my Ring of Honor question to end the show.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Because that will fill what we need to get.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned. You're listening to Heel and Face, ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air network.
This is Reflog18, and you are listening to Score on Air.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit beonair.com today to get started. That's beonair.com.
What's good, Big Game James?
How you feeling, D.O. Jr.?
My guy, I'm super excited. High school sports is starting back, man.
Man, I'm even more excited because we got this new show starting. Tell the people what we doing, D.O. Jr.
Man, we starting the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS.
That's right. We're covering football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and track and field. If it's in season, we own it.
Hey, you know we do this for the kids, man. You can listen live by going to scoreonair.com via the TuneIn app or watch us streaming live by going to the Score On Air YouTube channel,
the COHSS. Giving you nothing less, showcasing Central Ohio's best.
I'm Jake Safranco with your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Now here's the Sports Doc, Dr. Chris Stankovich.
Probably not a week goes by where we don't hear of some story in the sports world about an athlete using steroids or some other performance-enhancing drug. Unfortunately, a lot of these same stories have trickled down to youth sports, and we see an increasing number of kids turning to different means and measures to help improve their sport performance. Steroids, HGH, and even some of the ADHD drugs like Vyvanse, Adderall, and Ritalin have been used to improve focus and on-field performance. It's important that parents watch what their kids are taking, especially when it comes to nutritional supplements. Keep in mind these are not governed by the FDA, and in many cases we don't have enough research to tell whether there will be long-term negative effects. Train right, eat right, do moderate weight training and solid cardio work, and you'll be in the best position to get the most out of your youth sport experience.
This has been your Sports Doc Minute, brought to you by the OHSAA and the Ohio Media School. Enrolling now, visit beonair.com.
The Score wants to make you, a winner. Each week, ScoreOnAir.com is giving away a prize pack that'll knock your socks off.
Ouch, hey, that hurt.
How? First of all, like us on Facebook, and every Monday we will pin up a post to the top of our feed, updating you on what the week's prize and contest details are. Now here, take your socks back. A winner will be selected every week at 7 p.m. Friday on our combat sports show, Tyson's Punch-Out. So give us a call or text to get qualified. This is your home for the new generation of Sports Talk Radio and weekly prize giveaways. Here's how to qualify. Message us on Facebook at Your Score on Air or Twitter, also at Your Score on Air with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth. Or you can just simply call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to qualify to win T-shirts, sporting memorabilia, and more. This is your home for the new generation of Sports Talk Radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score. The Ohio Media School wants you to be part of the first ever Mastermind Exhibition on August 17th, 2017 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the Columbus campus. We are teaming up with experts in radio, television, and digital media to help you identify, entertain, and leverage an audience to promote your personal brand. This year's theme is BYOA, Bring Your Own Audience. Don't miss the first ever Mastermind Exhibition on August 17th, 2017 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Ohio Media School.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio in Columbus. Online sports radio, WSOA ScoreOnAir.com, the Score. You're listening to the home of heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping sports.
Broadcasting from Ohio Media School in the greatest city in the state.
In the greatest state in the country.
In the greatest country in the world.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com. Do you like talking Buckeyes?
Yes! Oh my God!
So do we.
Just not all the time.
We're home for the largest variety of sports talk. This is the new generation of Sports Talk Radio.
New generation of Sports Talk Radio.
ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
The Score.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tyson's Punch-Out, part of the new generation of Sports Talk Radio here on ScoreOnAir.com. I'm your host, Tyson, along with my co-host, throwing up gang signs in the back.
What? Tyson, one of these days, you're going to get me in trouble. And I can't say nothing but,
whoopsie. It's another Friday night, your favorite combat sports radio show here on the Be On Air Network and on ScoreOnAir.com. Tyson's Punch-Out every Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to join the talk, we are talking right now.
Welcome back. I've been teasing all show. We're getting towards the end. I've been teasing all show this big question for Aaron.
Yes, you've kept me in suspense practically this entire 2 hours.
Did you hear the rumor about this new faction they might be building in NXT?
I did. I heard that there is talk of building a Ring of Honor style faction. At the very least, like we alluded to, the discussions have begun about what to do with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. The natural conclusion seems to be, put them together as a team. And then if you have other guys, if you have Roderick Strong, those three guys fit together perfectly. You
have Adam Cole come in as the leader.
Yeah, and then you have a gang that can really make an impact, and then when they collapse and feud amongst themselves, you have a whole bevy of matches to do.
Of great matches, yeah.
But if you put those four guys together, like, I hate to invoke this because of the way it turned out, but if they were almost like the NXT version of the Nexus, then...
Or maybe like the NXT version of the NWO.
Yeah, well,
but just with four guys.
Because the Nexus was NXT guys, but they need to be,
like set up like maybe another invasion angle.
Well, they need to, if they're going to have it be like, look, we're not here to play developmental wrestler. We're here to take advantage of the opportunities that we have because we're experienced veterans and you guys are easy pickings. So we're going to come in here and stretch you and break your arms and take all of the money and all of the top spots.
Kind of like what the club has been doing.
Yeah.
We're here to get mean and make green.
Exactly, because we, those four guys can claim to, have been major factors in the biggest
all around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's one of those things I feel like is sort of a carrot dangled in front of the fans to make them think, oh, wouldn't that be special? And then
they're going to rip it away.
Yeah, then it doesn't quite evolve in that fashion.
It's going to be the old guy from Stay From Oh, you almost had it.
Yep, fished in.
So let's just go with that they do build this faction. What four guys from NXT would you build to put against them?
Well, I think that it depends on how you want to do it. I think you would have... It would be very easy to make the faction into heels, but that might be too...
It might be easier said than done.
I was going to say too much of a fight against the fans.
The only way that it would work properly is if Adam Cole does come in.
Well, I'm thinking he's the difference. Like, I think the fans are going to want to cheer him so much that it'd be hard to make anybody you put around him a heel.
And Kyle O'Reilly's over already.
Oh, yeah. Now, if they just have those guys as more of like, not like a Four Horsemen-like faction or an NWO-like faction, but more of like, we train together, we look out for each other because we went through the same experiences in Ring of Honor, we trust each other. So if you're going to make them baby faces, then have it just be like that like, look, man, we got to band together to, make sure that we survive, because if we don't, we'll get picked off.
Like, name him like the Code of Honor or something like that.
Yeah, strength in numbers kind of thing, yeah. And that, then I think you can have them run through Sanity. I think you can have them work against, a lot of guys,
Let's just say NXT TakeOver was doing a Survivor Series show. We don't know if they are or not, which they probably will, right? Triple H has come to you as William Regal, said, I got these four guys. Get you a four-man team. Who do you pick on the NXT current roster? I mean, anybody's available that's not injured.
Right. That's what I'm thinking is, like, who are the strong enough heels? Because a lot of the guys, like, Aleister Black is obviously a babyface. There's no reason, like, why would, you'd have to have Bobby Roode and three guys that can work with him. And who are those three guys?
Sanity.
Possibly.
Authors of Pain.
I had thought about that. I think this would be a good way to bring in a new guy, though. Somebody that maybe we don't,
that's somebody that's not on our radar that we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, to bring in a new guy as like Bobby Roode's like the guy that he found,
Magnus.
Maybe.
With Magnus not in contract with GFW anymore, his wife is with...
No, that was going to be the next thing I would say. Bring in a guy that people kind of know from another group and maybe bring somebody down from the main roster. Like if you brought... I don't know. It's like they've got plans for the Drifter. You don't want to turn Ty Dillinger heel. If you
could always bring Enzo back down.
Yeah.
Because I think him and Kyle O'Reilly, I'd hate to say it, might be able to do something together.
Yeah, if he was a heel, I'd say it'd be good. But if there was somebody you could bring down from the main roster to team with Rude, and then you bring up a guy from deep developmental and introduce a new guy from another group, would be the way I'd try to do it. But that would require a lot of pieces to fall into place. But off the top of my head, if I had 5 seconds to come up with the angle, I'd say Bobby Roode and the 3 guys from Sanity against those 4, and the faces go over.
I wouldn't put the faces immediately over, though.
No.
I might run this a little bit.
Well, I would have Bobby Roode walk out on the other guys to get him out, and have it come down to, last 5 minutes would be like Eric Young and whoever you're featuring, Adam Cole, let those guys.
Oh, that could be a killer match.
Let it come down to those 2, and, the other 2 Sanity guys try to help Eric Young, even though they've already been eliminated, and Adam Cole beats all 3 of them, and then they win.
And then the lights go out, Young Bucks show up.
There you go.
Anything's possible, but we know they're under contract for the next, 2 years?
Yeah, till 2019.
So, anything can change at this point. So, what are you looking forward to tonight on Raw, Aaron?
Well, I definitely want to see what they do with this last man standing match. I want to know what Joe's role is in it. Like we speculated, is the circumstances are set up perfectly for Joe to cost one guy or the other the match. I definitely we need to know what the deal is with the Bailey thing. I hope we find out good news about the Revival. I'm not holding my breath, but
I have a feeling he's going to need surgery.
Yeah, but
with a ruptured bicep,
I don't see what they can do to find anybody else to work with the Hardys in just 2 weeks, though. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you listeners out there have an idea. If you do, certainly send it to us on Facebook or Twitter.
I mean, it would. Well, maybe we'll just see the club versus the Hardys.
We certainly could,
and maybe bring one of those tag teams up from. But I wouldn't bring a tag team in.
You know what? If you absolutely had to bring in 2 guys just to work, I would leave the Hardys off. I'd have Heavy Machinery come up and work with the club and let Heavy Machinery look strong but lose.
And finally let the club look strong.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at this current point, Anderson and Gallows is probably thinking in their head, we would have been better off staying in New Japan.
Well, I'm sure they like the money. I don't know if they like the travel, but I'm sure they like not getting the soul beat out of them on a nightly basis by guys like Makabe and Ishii and Goto and everybody.
Yeah, that's true, but they were also New Japan's tag team champions.
Oh, no, I mean, they dished it out as much as they got, but I'm sure that after a while...
It gets boring.
Yeah, it's like, please, I don't want to have to have a street fight every single match.
SmackDown, I don't even know what to look forward to on SmackDown.
Well, they've got to start making people buy into Nakamura as the guy who can beat Jinder, which seems like it should be no problem. But
right, it should be no problem because Nakamura's over.
Yeah.
If they can keep it steady, they're good.
They haven't blown it yet.
Yeah, the key to that was yet.
Yes, but
I'm waiting on it to happen.
But I think you're right in that the logical storyline progression should be Nakamura beats Jinder, Corbin cashes in, walks out with the belt.
Maybe Corbin loses his cash in.
Maybe.
Because only, 3 people have ever lost to cash in?
Well,
I know Sandow
yeah,
has.
Sandow, Cena, and who else? Those might be the only 2.
Yep, that's cashed in and
Kennedy,
lost.
Lost it in a match, he was injured or something, and they had him drop the case to somebody else.
Right, in a ladder match
Yeah.
or something. So, Raw, last man standing, and I'm with you. I want to know what they're doing with Bailey. I'm not so much worried about Bailey as I am the Revival.
Yeah.
I feel like they just come back. They were getting hot.
One guy was out for, 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden the other guy gets hurt. So it's just bad luck, bad timing for those guys.
So, we're going to head out of here, and we're going to go get ready to watch Raw. Get everything set up. Never know what we got planned on Friday. I know we're going to talk New Japan. We should have a phone call guest.
Yeah, let's hope so.
My sources have not told me yet who it's going to be.
But all things going according to plan, that will be the case.
So just a heads up for right now, August 17th, we will not be live in studio, but we will have a show.
Yeah, we have to get that SummerSlam preview edition to you
and
one
NXT.
way or another. Yes, absolutely. So we will be pre-recording that date, but you will not miss out on the big final show before SummerSlam and TakeOver on the 17th.
So, thank you for tuning in. We are Heel and Face here at the Ohio Media School. ScoreOnAir.com, part of the Be On Air network, and we will see you Friday.
Broadcasting from the Score On Air studios at the Ohio Media School in Columbus, Ohio. Your home for all the latest sports news and talk. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
The Be On Air network, bringing you the best of the best in